Apple has been apparently exploring the idea of a smart ring, which definitely raises a lot of questions. What would it do? What would it look like? Would it be an Apple Watch alternative? What competitors would it have? And most importantly, when would it be released? But first, we have to talk about where this information is coming from. One of the sources being Mark Gurman, who reported that Apple is considering the idea of a smart ring. And the rest of the sources are Apple's own patents. The first being from 2015, then they've got another one from 2019, with the most recent one being from 2022. So Apple's definitely looking into potentially launching this Apple Ring. So what would it do? Well, to figure that out, all we need to do is to take a look at the patents, starting off with a 2015 one. 2015 was the year when Apple officially launched the Apple Watch, so it is pretty crazy knowing that even then, they were considering another wearable device. This patent describes a smart ring that incorporates a touch-sensitive area, gesture sensors, voice recognition, and possibly even cameras and microphones, with wireless charging that could work from a modified steering wheel too. In terms of use cases, aside from the Apple Ring being able to control your Apple TV, they were discussing the potential of such a ring-worn device, which ranged from controlling other devices to NFC functionality for possibly payments and keycards. In fact, this patent is so ambitious that it even showed a screen as well as a control dial. Yeah, pretty hard to imagine all of this fitting inside a ring. The second patent from 2019 lacks most of this tech that the first patent showed, however, it is far more believable, as it uses a lot of sensors to measure orientation, inertia, and control a VR headset. The Apple Vision Pro, as we all know, doesn't have any controllers aside from your hands. Apple intentionally designed it this way to make the experience feel as natural as possible. I haven't used the Apple Vision Pro yet, but from what I've seen and from what others who have used it told me, the hand tracking does work remarkably well. But there will always be cases where your hands might be hidden behind an object, and in that case, the Apple Vision Pro will not be able to see them. So I've always thought that it would make a lot of sense for Apple to use the pinch detect feature of the Apple Watch Series 9 as a controller for the Vision Pro when your hands cannot be picked up by the cameras. I don't really know why we don't have this yet. Maybe it is due to a lower accuracy compared to something like a ring. But according to the second patent, this would be the main use case for the ring, serving as an Apple Vision Pro controller. The third patent from 2022 takes everything that was good about the 2019 patent and adds some of the more realistic sensors from the 2015 one, including things such as an oxygen level meter, blood pressure, heart rate monitoring, and more. Essentially giving you an Apple Watch without a screen, speakers, or microphones for your finger. Now, of course, these patents all show different designs, so what would such an Apple Ring possibly look like? Well, personally, I don't see it looking much different from what's already on the market right now. Try to imagine a very minimal looking smart ring with Apple's own design language and a number of health monitoring sensors inside. Sensors such as a heart rate monitor, an oxygen level meter, a temperature monitor, and possibly even a blood pressure meter if we are to go by Apple's 2022 patent. And knowing Apple, they'll probably have some similar materials as the Apple Watches. I think an entry-level aluminium model is quite likely, even though that would be unusual for a ring. Apple does seem to love aluminium on all of their products. Stainless steel is pretty much a no-brainer, that always looks great on rings, which you can also see from our concept, which we have in 3 colors: silver, black, and gold, as well as 2 ceramic colors, white and black, and 4 titanium colors, black, gold, blue, and silver. And you know what else looks great in multiple colors? Our Heroic Heroes wallpapers pack that we've just launched yesterday. Made by our designer Matthew, aka Lowrod, Heroic Heroes features 10 minimal wallpapers of some of the most iconic superheroes. We've got Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, as well as others like Batgirl, Flash, and the Green Lantern. Of course, all of them are in 8K, so they look great on your smartphone, tablet, and desktop. Do let me know which one's your favorite, and you can find them in our app wallpapers for iOS and Android today. And this brings us to the next question. Will the Apple Ring replace the Apple Watch for some people, or will it work alongside the Apple Watch to give you extra health and fitness data? Well, personally, I just think there is way too much overlap between them in terms of the health sensors. So I think that it would be an alternative for people who don't like smartwatches, but they still want to get their health and fitness levels tracked. As some of you might have noticed that aside from my Apple Watch, for close to a year now, I've been wearing this separate tracker on my right wrist. This is called a Whoop tracker. It's got no screen, no microphones, no speakers. It simply tracks my health and my fitness, kind of like Apple's Ring would. And the reason why I'm wearing both is because the Whoop has significantly better sleep tracking than my Apple Watch. That's pretty much it. I don't really use it for any other feature. I use my Apple Watch for those. But for people who don't want to be constantly bothered by notifications and just want a simple fitness tracker like the Whoop, I do see the Apple Ring being the go-to. And of course, since it won't have a screen, the battery will be able to last you for far longer. Multiple days for sure, if not even multiple weeks. ET News, for example, reports that Apple is considering this ring as a less intrusive alternative to the Apple Watch, one that can be worn for longer and that is also easier to sleep with. Mark Gurman also seems to believe that this Apple Ring would be a more affordable option to the Apple Watch. So just like I said, I don't see it replacing the Apple Watch, but rather allowing people who don't want an Apple Watch to experience its health and fitness features too. But okay, let's say that Apple were to release this Apple Ring soon. How would they compete with every other smart ring that's on the market right now? After all, there are a lot of options. The most advanced one that I've seen is the Aura Ring. This one's got most of the same features as my Whoop Band, but in a ring form factor. It can track your heart rate 24/7, which is actually way more than the Apple Watch, which only does so every few minutes. It can also track your blood oxygen, your body temperature, your sleep, your stress, as well as your workouts, and more. Its battery life is really good too at 7 days, and it's also water resistant. Now, it is a bit expensive at £300 here in the UK, plus you also have to pay for a subscription too to take advantage of all the features. Now there's also the Ultra Human Ring Air, which is extremely similar to the Aura Ring in functionality, just without a subscription. And Samsung is also working on their own Galaxy Ring. In fact, when I went to MWC last month, I even got to see it in person. Now, Samsung was unable to tell me what specific features it would have, however, they did clarify that it would be heavily focused on health, fitness, and sleep. So likely very similar to the Apple Ring's rumored features. So it does seem like the market for these smart rings is growing. In fact, if you simply go on Amazon, you'll see dozens of options, some for as low as £40 or even less. Now, they all vary in functionality. This Q2 ring that I actually bought can run Siri shortcuts, and it's even got an NFC chip inside for storing ID cards. There's also this McClear ring, which is quite popular. This one is for payments only. So yeah, plenty of options on the market right now, with even more to come. But I think what will really make the Apple Ring stand out from the crowd will be its integration into Apple's ecosystem. Like being able to control your Apple Vision Pro with it, or your Apple TV, like in their patent, or literally any other Apple devices. I think this will make the Apple Ring be truly special. And of course, Apple could also integrate this into their accessibility features, allowing people with any motor disabilities to still control their other devices using gestures on the Apple Ring. Which brings us to the final question. When should we expect to see the Apple Ring? And the answer is that we don't really know. And Mark Gurman stated that Apple is not actively developing this ring at the moment, it's just something that they are considering as an idea. Now, of course, they do have those patents, so it is for sure more than just an idea, with ET News reporting that Apple has been paying close attention to the market for signs of increased popularity for these smart rings. So if I could take a guess, I would say that we could expect this Apple Ring roughly 3 years after the Galaxy Ring gets released, if it becomes very popular. The Galaxy Ring, by the way, is expected to be released this year. But what do you guys think? Would you actually prefer to use an Apple Ring over something like the Apple Watch? Let me know down below. I'm Daniel, this has been ZONEofTECH, and I'll see you guys in the next one. ZONEofTECH, signing out. Cheers.